Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Once again, I would like to welcome all the devotees. Thank you very much for joining. Now it's been, I think, 2 weeks we have met for this Kathāmṛtam sessions. And last week we spoke more on Mahaprabhu's pastime, Nimai's pastime. But the weekend before that, we are talking about how Vasudeva was trying to pacify Kamsa through various means. Because as soon as Kamsa heard this Akasvani, that the Astama Garbha of Devaki is the cause of his death, then without thinking anything else, he started opening his sword and about to chop the head of Devaki, with whom he wanted to reciprocate so much of love that he wanted to be a chariot driver. He wanted to share that love with her. But then as soon as it came to his life, as soon as he came to know about his enjoyment is going to be over, and then he started reacting completely in opposite way. And that's what we were discussing, that how the greatness of a person has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. The provoking situations, it could be the adversity, or the provoking situations, could be prosperity. And both could be the provoking situations. But during the adversity, yes, we discussed in detail about Parikshit Maharaj, how he responded to that adversity and he transformed it to opportunity. Vipatti ko kaise sampatti kiye, and not only for himself but for the entire, the human being society, or the entire universe. He gifted this Srimad Bhagavatam to everybody. But here we see that how when there is a adversity, how Kamsa reacted. And then, of course, Devaki was so happy hearing that the Supreme Lord is about to appear. She had smiling in her face, though the sword was on top of her head. She had so much of bliss. This is the perfection of my life. Lord is about to appear, and I am going to be the mother of the Supreme Lord. With no bounds to her joy, her heart was really completely filled with so much of happiness. She was not in that place where the sword of death was hanging on top of her head. At the same time, Vasudeva, he was the husband of Devaki, as a newly wed husband of Devaki. And now, of course, definitely he's also happy hearing that he's going to the father of the Supreme Lord. But not only thinking about the future, but also he said that, okay, I need to act something on the present as well. And he tried best how, what can be done at this point of time, so that I'm going to save Devaki, because that is a priority for the time being. And we hear that he used various means like Sama, Veda, Nyaya, and so on. Sam, like various forms of Sam, or pacifying or glorifying Kamsa. He said him, oh, you are the crest jewel of the dynasty. Oh, you are the descendants of the Bhoja dynasty. Oh, by killing your sister, right, you will incur sin. And by not killing sister, you will get the fame following the dharma. And they said, like, this Devaki is non-different than your daughter. How can you kill your daughter? And at the same time, he wanted to bring some generosity of Kamsa. I said that, okay, I would really like to receive a favor from you. please grant this favor of honoring this life of Devaki. Of course, he was a demon, Kamsa, and he didn't think anything about all those glorifications that was coming out of Vasudeva. Vasudeva tried even the Veda, creating a doubt, like, please avoid this family fight that might happen. Otherwise, if you would really kill Devaki, and you would incur so much of sinful, reactions by killing. He tried various ways, and he tried also some logic as well, some nyaya. He talked about the philosophy of reincarnation. Okay, janma hi dhruvam mrityu janma shacha. Whoever has taken birth, he will die. Whoever has died, he will take birth. So why to worry? And like a jiva, this is a body, and it goes to another body. Just like he talked about a person taking one step further, and then he leaves the prior step, or a earthworm, or the any insect goes from one leaf to another leaf. It's just so obvious, so natural. Why to really about the death? Yeah, person who is really going through this final exam is really looking forward to it. I will go to maybe this is the exam, I will go to the university, or I will go to the exam, I'll go to maybe some beautiful corporate life, or whatever it is. But yes, if somebody is really attached to somebody, then yeah, he feels that misery. And Kamsa was in that situation. He was not able to understand. And but Vasudeva, he really shown with a great example that what is the quality of a devotee. How he has to be fearlessness. So maybe just for your recap, I wanted to share with you this beautiful slide that we said last time. Hope you can see my screen. Right, we talked about this Veda, Nyaya, and then we talked about different qualities of Vasudeva, how he was so determined, how he was so decisive, and then he was really, depending on the plan of the Lord, that okay, definitely Lord has something big in mind, and I have to do my duty. He was not really running away from his responsibilities, and he was trying various means to really come out of it. And a devotee, like once again, here Vasudeva is showing with his example that how it is important to have this quality of determination, to try again. Sometimes we get failed, we think of getting up early in the morning, or we want to do some extra japa, or we want to study something, scripture, or we want to do any like good thing, and if we really fail once or twice, we really lose our patience, we really becomes heartbroken. Then you can see like Vasudeva, he's known as Anaka Dundubhi. When he appeared in this material world, like everywhere there was a clarion, trumpet, signaling that this most auspicious thing has happened, and he's a father of Lord, right? And he's failing again and again, trying to convince Kamsa, but he didn't lose that determination. He didn't really lose that. Okay, I'm really failing. That's why Srila Prabhupada tells again and again, quoting from the Acharyas, quality of a devotee, one of the most important quality of a devotee is determination. One time, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, right, I'm having this problem, that problem, and I'm really getting ditched into this immoralities, and I'm having this weakness, that weakness. And the Prabhupada heard him, for a minute, 2 and 3, and then strong, with a thunder like a voice. And I said, and if you're weak, rectify it. If you have no determination, you have no character. What makes you different from an animal otherwise? Yes, if somehow or other, if you now got this discrimination through this through this power of intelligence that Lord has given to us, through the scriptures, through the instructions of the sadhus. Right now, we have the discrimination what is right and wrong. But still, if we continue to follow the wrong path, then we are an animal. But a devotee, right? Quality of a devotee is that yes, it might happen that because of our conditioning, we might fail, or because of the circumstances, we might fail, and whatever the cause may be. But then he is not deviated, he's not distracted, he's not morose. He's really dependent on the Lord. And that's why Prabhupada always used to say that a devotee means he has to be he had to have the courage of a British general and the heart of a Bengali mother. Like Bengali mother, very tender, very humble heart, Prabhupada says. And also at the same time, like courage and determination. Because with that determination, with that courage, we can really cut across whatever the difficulties that might come through. So here we see that how Vasudeva is trying again and again. But then is the quality of demon not to really be influenced by anything. But then once Vasudeva said that, okay, which we cannot hear, unheard of, right? That Vasudeva promised now, okay, now whatever the child will be born, I will offer it to you. And Kamsa knew that okay, Vasudeva is the man of integrity, man of character, man of values. Okay. And then he got down and then he went back. And here we can see that how Prabhupada describes about the quality, and once again, one more quality of a devotee is that even enemy can trust you because you are a man of integrity. Because you are what you said and you say what you do. We don't have any duplicitous mind, or we say something, do something, or do something, say something. No, like he's synchronized. His body, mind, and words. Whatever he says, whatever he does, everything is aligned. That's a man of integrity. That's a man of character. That was Vasudeva. Okay. And yes, moving forward, here we are in the chapter 1, and we're discussing about the various verses. And right, like here, Sukadeva Goswami is very elaborately talking about that pastime and the discussion, and how Vasudeva with the Prasanna Vadam Bhoja, like the heart was so much of anxiety, what is going to happen, but like his face was Prasanna Vadanam Bhoja, he was externally, he was really so calm and so composed. And then this is a very beautiful verse, verse number 58. In the chapter 1, maybe I can share with you that verse. It's a very beautiful verse. It really once again differentiates, because the Bhagavatam and all our scriptures, they really gives us what is the quality of a devotee, what is the really quality of a demon. So here, okay. So here it says that Kim dosaham no sadhunam vidosam kim apeksitam kim akaryam kadaryanam dusyatajam kim trutatmanam. What is it? Sudhir Goswami is saying that, Kim dosaham na sadhunam. What is painful for a saintly person who strictly adhere to the truth? And how could there be no independence for pure devotees who know the Supreme Lord as a substance? And quality of a demon, what deeds are forbidden for persons of the lowest character, and what cannot be given up for the sake of Lord Krishna by those who have fully surrendered. Right? A devotee, right? He can do any sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. And the demon, there is no forbidden activities, that he cannot do. He can do anything. He can go to any lowest abominable activities. Kim akaryam kadaryanam. Person of the lowest grade, he cannot really give off his simple propensities. But kim dussahamnu sadhuna, whatever painful activities it could be, like without any personal consideration, his only motive is to serve. Premera swabhavajaya, that is a quality of a love, that he does not consider, right, whether what I'm doing is really for my, pleasure of my senses, or it is a pain of my senses. No, the only criteria, only decision box is whatever I do, it will really please Krishna or not. Some of you might have heard this beautiful pastime. This pastime is there. One time, Lord wanted to show the quality of a devotee, and Narad Muni was there, and he was traveling, and he came to Lord Krishna, and somehow Lord was having a little, he was playing that pastime. Of course, Lord doesn't go through any difficulty or any problem. He was saying that, oh, today I'm having headache, and Narad Muni said, oh Lord, you have a headache today? What is the problem of your headache? And how this your headache can be really resolved? Is there any medicine? Is there something that I can do to get rid of your problem? Yes, Narad Muni, yes, there is one medicine that is there. And if you go and bring the dust of my devotee's foot, then my headache will be cleared. And then Narad Muni went around, okay, oh, there's a Rukmini, there is Satyabhama, and then there are so many, he thought that, okay, they are all devotees of the Lord. He went everywhere. And he asked, would you please give the dust of your feet, because that is a medicine for Lord Krishna. And everybody was thinking, how can we really give the dust of our feet? He is the Supreme Lord, he is Dwarkadhish. That will be the most abominable, most sinful things that can happen. And he was going everywhere. He was not able to find anybody who can really give the dust. And finally he came, he understood that, okay, the devotees in Vrindavan and the gopis, Ramya Kachit Genaya, right? So like amongst that, all the devotees, gopis are the topmost, he approached there. And when gopis heard that, oh, somehow Krishna is having this headache, and the cure for that headache is the dust of his associates. And he said, okay, we don't know if we are associates or not. Because if he would think that we are associates, we are devotees, then he would not have left. But if you think that we are his devotees, and if you think that our dust would really help Krishna, we would not mind. Yeah, if you want to take, not only a pinch of grains of sand, but if you want to take buckets or whatever you want, we want to give as much as possible. And they wanted to offer anything and everything, even if it means to go to hell. We don't mind if it really pleases Krishna. And then when Narad Muni came back and said that this is what happened, Krishna said, yes, Narad Muni, even you are one of my dear devotee. You even didn't think of giving yours. Right? Of course, all these Dwarkavasis or Narad Muni, they are very dear to the Lord. But sometimes Lord wants to glorify, his really, really dear devotees, the gopis. That's why he plays some pastimes, and he wants also to show that, how he really respects and endears, even want to take the dust of his devotees. And that's why even in the Balya Leela, that he does the Mrudu Bhaksan Leela, right? The moderating pastime, because that, oh, The dust of my devotees are so sweet, I want to eat a little bit. Lord, that's various pastimes. But the essence that we wanted to share from this pastime is that what a devotee cannot do for the pleasure of the Lord, and what a sacrifice a devotee will not do for the pleasure of the Lord. And we are hearing some of the incidents that happened in Soviet era. All of us know that how Srila Prabhupada went to Russia just for 4 days, just to meet and possible to speak to somebody, so that, because at that time this is a communist regime and nobody can enter, nobody can, talk about religion there. Well, Prabhupada somehow went and he met one devotee, and somehow he could spend some time. And then, of course, he came back. But then after that, that's one devotee named Anatali Ananta Santi, who was initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And after that, so many other devotees from Europe and America, the way they really were going to Russia to preach this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Because whoever, especially in the KGB, they are, we can call it the intelligence department of Russia, was the most cruel, most gruesome. Whenever they came to know that somebody is talking about some other religion or this and that, they used to really torture them. They used to really make them go through so much difficulties we cannot even imagine. Right? They used to put them in Siberia. They used to give insulin therapies. They used to give some shock treatment. They would some electricity shocks. There are so many books devotees have written. There's one book called Salted Bread. So many devotees have made so many videos talking about their real life stories. What they have gone through, right? To not only practice but preach, because they have tested the bliss of Krishna consciousness, and they were so driven by that inner force of that bliss. They didn't want to keep it themselves, and they wanted to share with everybody. Oh, you see, how blissful is Krishna consciousness. And they used to go to the street, and they would have a bag, and they would, whoever would be passing by, could you please come? I want to tell you a secret. This is the secret of happiness. And the other person said, "What is that? What is that?" Then the devotee would really bring out a book and say that, "Oh, this is the book Bhagavad Gita. This is the song of God. By hearing this, by reading this, we can make our life perfect." Because at that time, it was a communist atheist regime, and they didn't know anything about it. And the other person, he would also come out with it. Yes, I'm also having this. I'm also distributing this book. Because at that time, nobody even knew who is a devotee, who is not. And because everybody was working in underground. And that's how, they were so much having that enthusiasm, not only to practice, but preach, especially in Russia and Eastern Europe countries. That's why the Krishna consciousness really flourished like anything. Because there was so much of vacuum, and after that, it prospered so nicely. And now also we see that how during this even most difficult time, our devotees have gained that solace from the holy name of the Lord, even those so-called difficult times, and even the neighboring areas, right? Countries, how devotees are coming out, helping each other. Yeah. So coming back once again to this sloka, that what sacrifice a devotee don't do, or what forbidden activities a demon cannot do. So this is what we can really learn the quality of a devotee and demon, how they are attached to their good or their bad. Okay. So my dear King Parikshit, here Sukadeva Goswami is saying that when Kamsa saw that Vasudeva being situated in that truthfulness was completely occupied in giving him the child. Yes, the first child was born, and Vasudeva had named him as a Kritiman. And then he brought that child to Kamsa, and with a smiling face, he spoke. What he spoke? That, oh, Vasudev, you may take this child, and go back home. I have no fear of your first child. It is the eighth child of you, and Devaki. I'm concerned about that. I'm with whom I am destined to be killed. So Vasudeva agreed and took his child back home. But Kamsa had no character. So here Prabhupada is saying that, how a person without self-control, must not be believed. That's what Prabhupada is saying in this. What is this beautiful? Yes. Those who are addicted to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor they can be trusted with any faith. A person who is really accustomed to sense gratification, we cannot trust him. So, like whatever he might say, he will do something else. But a Vasudeva, he was so truthful that he brought. Somebody might ask, why, what is the hurry to bring back the child? Because they had that. How Vasudeva, he wanted to be truthful. He didn't want to be a liar. And then he wanted to keep that promise, whatever he had given. And then he was really looking forward to that eighth child, will come. It's not that, okay, right, forget it. Like, why to go through so much of pain? But then, no, he was just thinking that, okay, let us go through the temporary pain that we might undergo for this handing over this child to this Kamsa. But yes, we'll have the great pleasure of achieving Krishna consciousness. So here, once again, this pastime really shows that, and most important part of this, chapter, like, right, especially the first chapter, we can really learn is the sacrifice of Vasudeva and Devaki. That we have spoken, many times about it, but once again, we have to re-emphasize that, right? Yes, we have to sacrifice something, right, to get something wonderful, right? Without going through the pain, we cannot have any gain. And pain, right, like, of course, voluntary pain that we are going through for the sake of advancement in Krishna consciousness. And yes, people are going through so much of pain, right? Working 20 hours in the office, or spending a long queue and to get some movie ticket. We are not talking about that pain, because that pain, we know that that's pain of the mode of ignorance. In the beginning, there is a pain. At the end, also there is a pain, right? But here we are talking about, the transcendental pleasure that we will get it, while going through, by following the instruction of acharyas, or by following the words of the acharyas, to get something big and at the end of it. So here, when we hear this, that once Kamsa sent back Vasudeva, okay, you take this child, Vasudeva was still having skeptical that, I cannot trust Kamsa, but okay, let me go back. And at the same time, there the appearance of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni appeared, and in a solitary place, he said, do you know Kamsa? While I was passing through the Sumeru mountain and so on, I saw there was a big gathering of Brahma and all the devatas, and they were planning, they had a big planning meeting, and they were discussing who will appear, which place, or who has already appeared, who is about to appear, and how they will kill different demons, what is the strategy, and all that. And yes, your death is coming very soon. And yes, it is true. The Astama Garbha of Devaki will be the cause of your death. And by the way, he just sowed a lotus petal, and he took out one petal. Do you see this lotus petal, and lotus having 8 petals? And I took one petal out. Can you tell me this is a first petal or 8th petal? Right? And saying that, he left. And Kamsa realized, yes, devatas cannot be trusted. right? We don't know, right? Lord Vishnu could be, maybe the first child or second child or eighth child, in whichever way you want to count it, or maybe they are changing the strategy now because now I become envious, right? And once again, of course, he called Vasudeva and took out the child and killed that child. But before that, the question might come that why Narad Muni, he came and provoked Kamsa. Any thoughts? Because of course, in the movies or in the serials or in what we heard last time, or the time, because we are so accustomed to hearing this mythology with nothing that, oh, this is mithya and this and that, or concocted pastimes. Most of the times Narad Muni is shown as sometimes a joker, or sometimes a kalaha person, like who does only mischievous things. That is, how do you really understand what Narad Muni did here? He provoked Kamsa to kill the child. Though Kamsa had left that child, oh, Vasudeva, please go ahead and be happy with your child. Why Kamsa? Why Narad Muni provoked Kamsa? Anybody have any thoughts? Anybody would like to share?
जी प्रभु जी,
Hare Krishna, yes.
थोड़ा सा और रोमांच लाने के लिए थोड़ा सा स्टोरी, मतलब लॉर्ड कृष्ण के कथा को और अच्छा बनाने के लिए.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I mean, as per my thinking, to show the world the actual cruelty of Kamsa, yes, that how cruel he can be, and to glorify the sacrifice of Devaki and Vasudeva Maharaj, yes, and I mean, I can say these two. I can see these 2 points, like
very good.
Yeah.
Yes, like our acharyas, they have given 9 reasons. Of course, we'll not go to all the 9 reasons why Narad Muni did it. But then, like we'll just talk about a couple of them. Like it is said that like Narad Muni, he was also have so much of eagerness that, oh, the Supreme Lord, like we heard that that even Lord Vishnu, he was not even visible to Brahma, right? He got through only the instruction through the heart of Brahma. Nobody could see. And now he has heard that like the Supreme Lord Krishna, he in his original form, he's going to appear. This is the most beautiful, most blessed thing that is going to appear. He just had that joy of seeing the Lord as quickly as possible. But then, like if it happens like this, and Kamsa behaves so soberly, against contrast to his nature, and is at the same time continue to prosecute all the yadus and all the nearby people, then it cannot go on. How all the demons they will be annihilated, right? And then he wanted to bring, as you said, like even joy to Vasudeva and Devaki, right? Because they were also looking forward to birth of Krishna. Everybody had that eagerness to see the appearance of the Lord. And another point, like as you said, like yes, to glorify the devotion of Vasudeva and Devaki. And yes, it is also to expedite Kamsa's killing, so that Kamsa can be killed as soon as possible, so that it cannot go on further. And also Narad Muni also, he wanted to get the blessings of Vasudeva and Devaki, that okay, somehow or other, right, Krishna is about to appear and we are really blessing you, for really orchestrating everything. And of course Narad Muni also was thinking that okay, let me have some maintenance of good friendship with some false friendship with Kamsa, so that whenever there is a need, I can really take care of him nicely. So yes, though unfortunately so many people they have this wrong notion towards Narad Muni, but he's one of the 12 Mahajanas. He's one of the dear associates of the Narada Muni Bajaye Vina Radhika Ramana Name. So always he's chanting the name of Radha Krishna. He's always chanting the name of Lord Narayan. He's such a dear devotee of the Lord, and a dear devotee never causes any disturbance. But yes, he wants to do something needful at some point of time. It might appear for ignorant people that okay, he is doing some mischievous. We don't know what will happen, because one thing we should remember that Vaishnavara Kriya Mudra Vigyana Puche. And even an intelligent person cannot understand the activities, the words and the qualities of a devotee of the Lord. Sometimes might act in a differently. But at no point of time we should offend a Vaishnava, we should offend a devotee, because we don't know what is the plan or what exactly he or she is having. And in that context, now let's go further about one more pastime, about Kamsa, because Narada also heard that how he was Kalanemi and how he was killed by Lord Vishnu in his previous incarnation. And now the same Lord Vishnu is now appearing as a Krishna, and he will be killing him, and then his enmity towards Vishnu increased a little bit more. And then we also hear about the 6 sons, and who are the 6 sons, and how they were going to be killed one after another. The 6 sons, like they have gone through multiple, once again, the pastimes, multiple lives, and it starts with that. Especially it is there in our Chaitanya Bhagavat. There is this pastime happens where Nityananda, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he talks about Nityananda Prabhu. Sometimes the characteristics of Nityananda Prabhu is very difficult to understand, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells the devotees that how we should not offend anybody. Sometimes even though they might act in a very different way, which we might not be able to relate to it. At any point of time, we should not insult a devotee or offend a devotee or think negatively of a devotee. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells this pastime. One time, somehow or other, like grandsons of Brahma, or you can say the 6 sons of Marichi, they offended Brahma, seeing some uncharacteristics qualities of Brahma. And hearing that, Brahma cursed these 6 sons of Marichi, that because you don't have any respect towards your grandfather, and I really curse you to that you'll burn in the family of demons. And these 6 sons of Marichi, or the grandsons of Brahma, they appeared as you can see, the grandsons, right, of this Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakasha, right? Like Hiranyakasha, like there are 2 brothers, right? Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakasha, and Hiranyakasha's son was Kalanevi, and Kalanevi's sons were this 6 sons. And these 6 sons, like the quality of a demons is that they wanted to be invincible. They wanted to really have a lot of strength. And in this pastime, they also did so much of austerity, these 6 sons, and they approached Brahma that please give us a strength so that we if we become more, we'll get more strength and we'll become invincible and so on. And hearing that, this Hiranyakashipu, he got really angry. How come that you approached devatas to get the strength, while me being there, right? Now I curse all of you that you will be killed by your father in your next birth. Who was the father? Kalanemi. So the Kalanemi appeared as a Kamsa in the next birth in this Dwapar Leela, and the 6 sons appeared as the 6 sons of Devaki, the Sadgarvas. So sometimes we might think that okay, why they got killed, but this is once again relate back to the previous life. Sometimes we always think of the current time or the current lifetime, and we sometimes we ask, oh, why it happened, why good things happen to bad people, or why bad things happen to good people, and because we don't have the complete picture. But at this time, right, one more explanation, one more commentary that Acharyas are also giving is that before the appearance of Lord Krishna, of course, the seventh one will be the appearance of Lord Balaram. And Lord Balaram, before the appearance of Lord Balaram, all the 6 sons get killed. So it also means that the 6 sons represent 6 anarthas. This Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, this lust, anger, greed, illusion, right? All these, they have to be killed before the Lord will appear. And in between that, yes, Lord Balaram, or the representation of Lord Balaram, Nityananda Prabhu, or the representation of Nityananda Prabhu, or the spiritual master, through their instruction, right, they will really kill all these anarthas. Or we hear this very beautifully, how Prabhupada is saying that, yes, in this Kali Yuga, of course, Lord is not appearing to kill, but he is appearing to transform these demoniac qualities to divine qualities. Maybe I'll just share with you this very beautiful purport that Prabhupada is writing here. Now, yes, the purpose of the Lord is to really kill the demons. Okay, let me read this part. So yes, we always hear that, that once the great sister Narada, right, approached Kamsa and informed out the demoniac person who were a great god on earth who are going to be killed, the Kamsa was placed into great fear and doubt. It is said that it has already been discussed, our Mother Earth implored Lord Brahma to give relief from the distress created by burdens of demons, and that Lord Brahma informed her that Lord Krishna is soon going to appear, and Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Please hear this paragraph, very nice paragraph Prabhupada is writing. Whenever there is a burden created by the demons, and whenever the innocent devotees are distressed by demoniac rulers, the Lord appears in due course of time to kill the demons with the assistance of his real representatives, who are technically called demigods. In the Upanishads, it is stated that the demigods are different parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as it is the duty of the different parts of the body to serve the whole, it is the duty of Krishna's devotee to serve Krishna as he wants. Krishna's business is to kill the demons. Therefore, this should be a devotee's business also, because the people of Kali Yuga are also fallen. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of kindness for them, did not bring any weapon to kill them. Rather, by spreading Krishna consciousness, love for Krishna, he wanted to kill their nefarious demoniac activities. This is the purpose of Krishna conscious movement. Unless the demoniac activities on the surface of the world are diminished or vanquished, no one can be happy. The program for the conditioned soul is fully described in the Bhagavad Gita, and one simply has to follow these instructions to become happy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore prescribed Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nastiva Nastiva, Gatir Anyatha. Let people chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly, let their demoniac tendencies will be killed, and they will become first-class devotee, happy in this life and in the next. So here Prabhupada is saying very nicely, yes, the purpose or the business of the Lord is to kill the demons, and the devotees or the devatas, they also follow Lord's business, that is their family business, to kill the demons. In this Kali Yuga, right, Lord's instruction is not to kill the demon, but to kill the demoniac propensities, the demoniac nature within our heart. How all these anarthas that is really there, right? Yes, how they need to be transformed, how we need to really cultivate the divine qualities, especially in Bhagavad Gita, especially in the chapter 16, he elaborates, Lord Krishna elaborates, about what are those divine qualities and demoniac qualities, Dambha, Darpa, Abhimanascha, right? All this pride, arrogance, illusion, ignorance, all of that, right? How there is a need for all of us to introspect, reflect that, how should I really transform them? How should I really bring that arrogance to humility, from that selfishness to selflessness, from that anger to the love? How do I really transform that? And as long as they are there, the bhakti will not appear. And then it is also mentioned that how like Kamsa represents the fear, and Devaki represents the bhakti, and like as one we have that fear for Kamsa, right? Then all these anarthas will go away, right? So a devotee is always fearful of Maya. A devotee is always fearful, right, of the nature of the material world, and that yes, I can be provoked, I can be really, tested at any time. So I should have a healthy fear of whatever is really happening, and I took shelter of the Lord. And one should I really take shelter of Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda, the spiritual master, and then these 6 sons will be really taken care. This third anarthas, they will be taken care. So this is the different right learning, different lessons that we can take, from this pastime. That how we discussed about how as a devotee, right, never offends anybody, right, because it has its so much of negative consequences that not only this life but multiple lifetimes he might have to suffer. And then especially a devotee, for Lord Krishna to appear in the heart, right, he has to ensure that he has to bring Lord's instruction, or Lord Balaram or Nityananda Prabhu or the spiritual master into our heart, so that they can really plow all these anarthas and really uproot them. And yes, we need to have that healthy fear of all these anarthas, that yes, before coming to Krishna consciousness, somebody was saying on devotee that, oh, earlier, okay, I was taking anything, I was eating anything, I was going anywhere, I was going to any place, but after coming to Krishna consciousness, right, I have to always think, oh, this is prasadam or it is not prasadam. Or if I'm going to, somewhere, like if somebody asks me, okay, chalo yaar ek movie chalte hain, then okay, right, whether this will help me in my Krishna consciousness or it will take me away from my Krishna consciousness, that is always my decision box. I have always that fear of being trapped by Maya, trapped by the illusion, because after so many millions of lifetimes, yes, I am receiving the mercy of Krishna's Bhakti Lata Bij in my heart. And if I once again succumb to those anarthas, once again that will get extinguished, that will once again be covered. It's very important for me to how can I really fan that spark of devotion, that spark of faith that is gained, and how can I really more and more add more. It can enlighten more rather than it can cover more. So at that point of time, right, Krishna, once all the 6 sons are killed, then Krishna of course orders Yogamaya, oh Yogamaya, so now I'm really ordering you. So now you go to Devaki. Now the seventh child is about to appear, but now the 7th child is not an ordinary child. He is a Sesa, he is Sankarshana, he is my manifestation. This is a Balaram, and his original mother is Rohini, who is there in Nanda Gokul, is there in Mahavan. So you somehow do this wonderful pastime that you take this child from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Like this, once again, we cannot, from our material intelligence perspective, we cannot really understand, how a child from the womb is really carried from one baby to another. Of course, the people talk about, right, this test tube baby and so on, right? But this is a much more sophisticated, right, than what you can even think through our material intelligence at this point of time, right? And then he orders also Yogamaya, that how you also appear as the daughter of Yasoda there, and then you really appear, right, as my sister, and then how you will be really worshipped by all the people in this earthly planet, like as a Chandi, as a Mangala, as a Durga, and really kill all the demons, and then how you will really help me in all my pastimes, and really getting all the people closer to the Supreme, getting that, reviving that Krishna consciousness within the heart. Okay. Hare Krishna. So this is the couple of thoughts that we discussed. Any comments? Any questions from anybody? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद करना।
Hare Krishna.
वो 9th कारण वो मुझे पता नहीं थे, केवल 2 कारण मुझे पता थे, बाकी के वो जो नारद मुनि ने जो लॉर्ड कृष्णा के आने के बारे में और वो प्रोवोक किया कंस को कि उन्हें मारने के लिए, तो ये बाकी के 7th और जानने के लिए, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत थैंक यू प्रभु जी। बहुत अच्छा लगा, अच्छे से आपने डिस्क्राइब किया जी। ऐसा बहुत रुचि आता है, इंटरेस्टिंग आता है प्रभु के बारे में।
Once you hear in detail, especially Srila Prabhupada has given in very in detail in the Krishna book and also Bhagavatam 10th canto, 1st chapter. So whatever is written there, we are just repeating that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, before you mentioned that, sorry, I butted in between. I think she has not finished, na? She was talking, I think, in between.
Okay, Mataji, you continue, please.
मुझे doubt नहीं था. You said the Naradji went and provoked. So before you gave the reasons that they were due to that past karmas, they were destroyed. I mean, they had to be killed. But without their killing, also the 8th Krishna would have taken birth. It was not necessary for all the 6 persons to be children to be killed, na Prabhuji?
Yes, like once again, right? Like as we heard, right? Like it is the divine arrangement of the Lord. Like
yeah, afterwards you told, so I understood. In between, I was put this question: is it necessary for them to have been killed? But then due to their previous things.
Absolutely. Yes, so somehow, like, with one pastime, Lord manifests multiple things.
Yeah,
and then we hear that how in the Krishna book, later pastimes, Devaki wanted to really still reciprocate the motherly affection with the 6 sons. Then she requests Krishna and Balaram, right? Yes, I'm feeling very sorry that I could not reciprocate with my 6 sons. Could you really bring them back? Because I know that, you have really brought back your Guru's son who was really dead. You really brought him back, to the life. And you could really bring, your Guru's child to the life. You can also bring back my 6 sons. And then how Krishna and Balram, they went to the Patal Lok. Bali Maharaj was there and he had kept those 6 sons and he brought them back. And then, right, like after taking the milk of Devaki, like we can consider the remnants of Krishna, right? Even they once again went back to the, the heavenly abode, the spiritual world. Right? Yes, Lord does multiple pastimes. Multiple activities and multiple lessons, it really teaches us through the one pastime.
This is something new, the latest one, which is, I've not heard it before. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
It is there later. We'll hear in this Krishna book later. Okay. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you very much. I really respect and appreciate all of your enthusiasm and patience in coming on weekday. I'm really grateful to all of you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Swami.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sudhir Gopal of Hare Krishna, Srinivas Raju
Yes,
from Hyderabad.
yes, well, please.
I am sorry to join late, sir. Due to some preoccupation, I joined late.
Yes, we can understand. No worries. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Kirtana is not there, sir, today.
Okay, we can just do 2 minutes kirtan. Hare Krishna. So we'll just pray to their lordships that whatever suffering that is happening all over the world, may they all be eradicated through this chanting of the holy name. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Kalo nasti va gatiranyata. There is no other way, no other way, no other way than the chanting of the holy name. This holy name is really the deliverer of everyone.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaura. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.